Alright, we are live. Give me 1 second to set up my computer, just playing with some motion background stuff here. So let me turn down my Spotify. Alright everybody, this is Nate Milton DigiFX, and thank you for joining me. We are going to do some fun stuff today. Just finally got my new streaming workstation up and running, and it just took me a while. I was having some blue screen stuff going on, still figuring out my keying, and to get some more lighting up in here, but slowly but surely getting this to a place where I feel like it's appropriate to start streaming on a daily basis with the system itself. And I must say, this is a lot better than what I was using before with my MacBook Pro. Love my MacBook, love working on it. But I was having issues where it just was crashing on me. And with this system here, I've also been having issues with some blue screen stuff, but just looking into the most recent reasons for that has to do with this basically hardware and software stuff. So I've been trying to update everything, just updated my BIOS, which seems to have fixed a lot of the performance. You see I'm using this motion graphic lively wallpaper background here. And that's just this this fun little thing you used to, if you had ever used Windows 7 or Windows Vista, this was a feature they added in which greatly drained the performance of the computer. But the beauty about having a 10-core processor here is that it can handle a lot of what you throw at it for the most part. And so we're just kind of stress testing the system. I don't want to start really broadcasting real work stuff and then having stuff crash on me like I've been doing. So I'm just, I'm playing around with it and seeing what we can do here. So we're running at 4.8, and I haven't really been doing much overclocking with this system yet, only because I just want to see how it handles just settings, regular settings here. And so I just downloaded this Intel Extreme Tuning utility here, and kind of keeps track of everything that we have going on. I've a lot of different programs that do that. I have another one here that. So I think the title of this live stream is still going to be Asset Collection. So we will do some of that today. Continue where we left off with our Unreal development. I'm not going to announce the 3 projects we have in store for Unreal, along with the next phases of our Unity development here, because again, I'm going to wait till next week to start sharing some of that stuff and get everybody aligned. It's really just getting the hardware set up to where it needs to be, to where we can efficiently stream without having any issues here. So this is usually one I like to use. It's just, again, testing out some of the stuff here we can use. But I must say the BIOS update did greatly improve our computer performance here, which is good. At least it seems like it is. Everything seems to be running a little bit much smoother, which is interesting because you wouldn't think the BIOS affects Windows directly. It does. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just getting an old school 3D program, Prime 95. For all you millennial guys in their mid-30s like me, this is something we used when in the 90s and the early 2000s when I was building systems then. This was the software of choice that we've used. And since then, there we go, started downloading. Since then, there are newer ones that I'm finding out as I get back into this whole game of hardware building and streaming and development and all that fun stuff. But we're going to go old school today, and we're going to see what we can do with Prime 95. I always forget if I need more than just the exe right there, but I don't think I do. So what I just did is I just extracted the 95 here. Okay, what's this? Okay, so I'm interested in that really. Should we go ahead and prime 95 it right now? Okay, what's this? It's just telling me that's still running in the background, which is fine. You can see. So for the stress testing, because I'm streaming and I'm running this stuff, it's not really fair to the computer, is it? But we're going to see how this runs with a broadcast setup. And if the computer crashes, so be it. Alright, so right now our CPU, it's amazing how this 5th core is a lot hotter, 20 degrees hotter than everything else. Can't figure that out, why that would be. And then our GPU is doing alright. So, oh, okay, that's why. Alright, so I did need to, let's try that again. Let's just go ahead and delete this. And let's re-export our Prime 95 here, because it needs all those DDL support files. So Prime. Okay, and then what was it? What's in our downloads, huh? I'm used to Mac shortcuts here, but no reason why. Can't do someone here. Okay, we'll just take all this and we'll just drag all this crap in here. Okay, does that. So you exports it, extracts it pretty nicely. Then we have our Prime 95. I don't know if I have to run an administrator, but let's just do that. Alright. Let's go torture it. Woo! That was fast. So, alright, so I think it's running. I kind of forget. Okay. It says self-test. I forget how this works. I think it's running, and that should amplify the amount of workload that we need to see on here. So if I just open up my extreme utility thing. There we go. Alright, so 90% utilization here, 95, 90. So what's very interesting about this is that even with Prime 95 running, it's still kind of bouncing back and forth, but it is pretty much, that's what it was in idle, and here's what it is now after we're doing it. So I'm really just trying to figure out the thermal radiation here and the heat signatures here. Make sure that we are staying within reasonable aspects of the computer. Right, I also don't want to open this up twice. I need to get a new mouse because my wireless mouse is this pretty old Microsoft one, and it's kind of annoying how it doesn't have a really good range, and the new ones are actually probably pretty, god dang, better. Okay, so you can see we get definitely higher temperatures here. I think it can be above, anywhere below 100's okay. GPU isn't really changing. We're not really using GPU. We're just doing workloads here for the 10 cores. And I'm just interested in the temperatures here. I want to see how suckers without destroying our computer, along with other stuff. So what's really cool here is that we are broadcasting, and we are playing music, and we're stress testing, and you know, it seems to be holding up, which is cool. So I just really wanted to do a quick test to see how the computer would handle the stress test in the background, and you can see it drops right down around 10% there, 10-15%. So we are looking good in terms of the i9's capabilities for workstation stuff. So what we can do now is we can move on to actually some work. And real quick, I always hate it when it doesn't. Okay. So it looks like this is the main screen, or is it not? Which one is the main screen here? Okay. Huh. Weird. So maybe it's I haven't plugged in backwards, but number 2, which is to the left, I made the main screen, but then it puts everything on the middle one, which is not the main screen. So I don't know if that's because of the numbering system, but Windows has some quirks that you would think. I don't know. I mean, maybe I haven't. I mean, I definitely have. Maybe I just haven't plugged in backwards in the card, but it's just very interesting how it's backwards like that. The reason why I did that was so that when I go, no, it still does that. I just want to like fast. I press the Windows key and I just type in whatever program I need and launch it super fast. And I want it to like launch right in the screen for everybody to see, but it always goes to the right. And I don't know what it is, but we're not gonna worry about it. So, as you can see, we're gonna do some asset collection today. I'm gonna use Sketchfab, Turbo Squid, Free 3D. These are just some sites that I constantly use to collect 3D assets that are, for the most part, royalty-free and used commercially. There are tons of other sites you can use, like 3D CAD and 3D Trader. There's I don't know what they all are. I've purchased 3D models from CG Trader. That's another good one. I've purchased 3D models from all these, so I should have actual accounts that I can use. And what I've been trying to figure out is whether I use my Gmail or my Facebook login for all these more often. Okay, so clearly let's try my Facebook one. Yep, okay, so this is, let me just see what I have here, my models. Alright, I'm pretty sure I've used this account to buy something. Yeah. Okay. So I bought a male hand rig, which we're going to use in some VR stuff at some point. Right. So you can see as the 2 engines that we're messing with here. So I use this. This is a pretty cool hand. You probably have seen this in games already. And I also bought a Magic Leap 3D model. I was using this more for just my pitch deck stuff for 3D model assets, but we can probably put this in some kind of interactive experience. And I haven't talked about my Magic Leap or my VR stuff lately, only because I've been focusing more on the hardware, but here's my trusty Magic Leap in its Pelican case. And we will be diving into that. There it is, right there. Love this little guy. And we'll be diving into the Magic Leap stuff in a couple of weeks. But more importantly, and I don't have a Quest yet. That's probably my next purchase. But I have an original Oculus right here, which is the original bad boy, along with some sensors set up now and my controllers here. So that is pretty much, I think, the goal for the in terms of the peripherals. I'm gonna do some VR stuff next week with Unreal and VR, and I'm gonna share that. I'm gonna stream that, and then the upcoming weeks we're gonna go back into the Unity side of things with the Magic Leap, and I'm gonna focus on the stuff I was showcasing last month. And so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to stay aligned with the brand, as in the GGFX, Oasis, and the other projects, but then work with different engines and different hardware and try to build those out, a little bit of each, because I want to work with all the different hardware that I own along with the different game engines and see what they can really utilize. And I think my strategy for 2020, 2021 is going to be more high-end graphic intensive stuff. Is going to be PC based, VR, Unreal Engine, and I'm going to use Unity. I'm going to stick with Unity for the mobile stuff, and obviously with the Magic Leap being an AR headset that can do everything along with the VR, we'll probably bounce those back and through the two game engines, but for now I'm going to use my Magic Leap and my mobile stuff with Unity because I already have that set up and I've been working on that for the past few years. And my VR stuff, which, you know, obviously with the new Quest, and let's just check that out real quick. Let's just go see the latest Quest. So Quest, Oculus. Alright. I know they have a Quest 2, which is supposed to be banging. It's supposed to be really good. So this is probably our next purchase in the upcoming months for hardware through DigiFX. We're going to get us one of these, and then we're going to transition into using this with the sensors versus our original Oculus. And I just, obviously I just need a budget for all this stuff. Doesn't even look like it's out yet, huh? I don't know what's going on. I haven't been able to keep up all this, but this is our next step. So the future of DigiFX lies within the hardware that you see here for VR, and obviously the counterpart being AR. We're going to work with our Magic Leap along with HoloLens if we get our hands on those. But yeah, so $300 ain't that bad, but I know there's different developer packages, and yeah, alright, well, it's actually not that much. I might buy one soon. Yeah, and it looks like he has one, so. And he has, alright, let's give this guy a sub. Okay, so we'll get into that later. That's not really why I'm streaming today, other than to kind of think about the different stuff that we can mess with here. So I'll just go ahead and sign in all my accounts just so I have them readily available. And again, I'm not really sure if I use my Facebook or Google. I need to start picking one or the other so that I know which one I use. Because I think with this one I actually use Google. Okay, so I have my emails here. And when I show my emails on here, I'm already past the phase of being trolled and spammed in my life. I probably get 20 calls a day from stupid freaking robocalls, and if not more, and texts and emails. And so Verizon needs to step up their game. That's my provider, and they need to figure out a way to block all the fake robocalls. And that's obviously something that T-Mobile and Sprint say they're working on. They have a spam blocker, but who really knows how that works. So we're in this one too. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and sign in my account here. It looks like I'm already signed in my Turbo Squid. Thank God it doesn't show my password, otherwise I'd have to kill everybody that's streaming this. And we're signed in here. And it looks like I have a one upload credit. Oh, it's upload credits here. Okay. Okay, so we have our 4 3D programs that we need. So next thing we're going to do, we're just going to kind of generate a list, a manifest list. And I do this for all the games I create. It's just good for asset management. And I have used some agencies in my life, some programs that allow for you to search and find your assets. I just use Google Drive right now for all my... Okay, so here's where I get confused. Okay, so I guess what I was doing wrong earlier is that I guess this is the main screen, and it was just putting all my icons on the not main screen because that's the way I had them saved. Okay, so the reason why that's important to me is that I can see everything down here, because Windows, for some reason, they only give you the RAM, the stuff in the main screen, but they didn't give you the menus in all of them. So it's interesting how they only do that in one place. Okay. Alright. Alright. That should be good. So what I was doing here, I go Chrome. Okay, so that time it opened up in the right place. Gmail. And let me just get rid of this. Alright. Alright. Okay. I just had a response from somebody that was an important response. So, cool. I actually have some interesting news. Okay, so here's my drive. And what I'm doing now is I'm in the process of migrating the last 15 years of my life into one place here. And so that's kind of why I haven't been streaming much work stuff lately. I've been setting up my new work development, my work environment, because I've been working on MacBooks, like I said. And so I want to make sure everything's in place. And so, you know, I have so many drives of crap. I mean, I have probably 5 of these double terabytes that all save stuff that I have to back up. I took a bunch of Western Digital black 1 terabytes, which are just 3.5, you know, the bigger, older hard drives. And I am just wiping them, and I'm calling them bays, and they're in the expansion slots of my new case here. And so that's why you see these different bays here. And then, of course, I have my file stream that I'm trying to sync everything here. And yeah, so that's pretty much, I'm trying to organize everything I have and all my assets and all the licensed stuff before I start building and creating new projects here. And also, I'm also trying to set up the different dev environments for different projects here. In terms of what we already have going for us is if I just open up Epic Game Launcher, and again, that's why I like the Windows just to type, because it's the fastest way just to launch stuff. I don't have to click on any icons anymore. And as you start using computers more, I think you'll find that the keyboard is a more direct route to stuff versus clicking icons. Okay, so if I go to my library here, I was just messing around, and this is the wrong icon for the wrong game here, but we're starting to set up our Unity dev environment. And alright. And it's giving me this error. That's only because when I imported this house, I think a lot of the contacts there. So Unreal is the engine here is running pretty good. And I'm not going to start building. I'm just using this level as a way to collect assets and drop them in here. So it doesn't really make sense. There's a lot of random stuff, but I'm just going to start dropping stuff in here, seeing how it looks, texturing it, and then I'll start building out the actual levels. But that's Unreal. And then so in terms of Unity, which is our other counterpart in our game dev here. I am having some challenges with syncing my Mac version of Oasis Live, the one that I have on the store. And if somebody's interested in what that is, if you go to Oasis Live App Store, I think it is. Oops. Alright, it should come up. There it is. That's me. This is my app I created, and I haven't really marketed it that much, and I still need to build it to Android. There's a lot to do with Oasis Live itself, the next steps in the game, and it's a massive undertaking, and it's something that I've thought about for a while. And I built it, and I want to be strategic about what I do, because obviously you put a lot of work into something, you want people to enjoy it, and so there hasn't really been a rush for me in terms of that stuff. So I'm trying to figure out if I continue building this off of my Mac, or if I start migrating this to the PC stuff as well. And that's really what I'm getting at. So my challenge here is I haven't been able to sync using Collaborate. I've been having issues with the cross-platform capabilities because I built it on a Mac. The PC doesn't really like it, even though Unity claims that it should work. And so, with that being said, I've been updating, organizing everything, and I might just copy it over in the back end like the old school way instead of syncing it, and then trying to open it in the PC side here and then resyncing it, but that will screw up a lot of what I had fixed. So I haven't really been messing with this because it's in a really good place, it's safe, and I don't want to mess with it. Not to mention there's other people working on it with me in the upcoming months. So that's why I basically have been shifting over to other hardware and other stuff, not because this isn't a priority, only because I'm still figuring out the logistics on how I make it work on the PC side of things. So, but regardless of that, if I go to, okay, I just want to pull up something without Gigabyte link slash. Give me 1 second, just pulling up some information here. I know I'm not supposed to stream music, but I said screw it. I said screw it, internet. Screw it, all you fancy schmancy record labels. Alright. I just like to play my music. I'm just looking for a manifest list so you can see kind of how I do this stuff here. It's in my mega deck, which is 180 pages of crap that you probably wouldn't interest somebody that's only interested in certain things here. Where is it? It's in my Oasis section. Alright, there we go. Okay, I found it. Alright, so my mega deck. So this is just an example of kind of like how I break down all the use cases. So this is the original. And one thing I also kind of confuses me is when I want to just go half and half on here. Oh shit, I'm supposed to show that. Okay, well, pretend you didn't see that. I was pitching that to somebody. Alright, so this list right here, you can see I have a bunch of stuff that's kind of like helping me break out the specific app itself. And so in here I have all these Google Sheets, which is equivalent to a Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. And so what I can do is I can generate lists of inventory items, And then so I'm going to use, so if I just go down here to consumables, which is an example, you see now I've broken out all the different items, screenshots, levels, information about each one, HP, and then what I can do is I can parse this into the actual game here. So I can generate items through this, and I don't have to actually put them in, and then the servers themselves or whatever's communicating with the stuff can actually access all this stuff. And so this is, there's lots of this. There's hundreds and hundreds of different list forms for different kind of things. These happen to be consumables within the RPG game. And so we're going to do something similar, a manifest for the kind of stuff we collect with games moving forward. So I'm just showing you an example of how you organize all your assets in terms of a game strategy, but then actually organizing within the computer itself is a different story here. So what I usually do is if I just open up my Google Drive is I'll view it as large icons. So everything here, and this is kind of unorganized. This extra stuff shouldn't be here. It should only be pretty much the top row minus this. But my adventure store should also be too many things. Oh, okay. Okay, so I also made this new one here because this is where we're going to start keeping stuff. Alright. Alright, so if you do watch this, there's a spoiler. So, Oasis Live. Actually, it's going to be Oasis Lost Relics. Alright? Okay, and then the other one we're creating here is Drone Explorer. These are just some epic game concepts that I'm trying to create. And last one is My Adventure Store. Okay, so, and then in this one, this is where I'm just going to keep all the 3D assets I create or collect, and we upload. And I believe that there's a different place for them at the moment that I've been saving them, but this is why I'm going to start keeping them from now. And so I'll migrate what I've already used in the Epic stuff to these specific folders based off the project itself. So that's just a little organizational stuff that I would recommend if you plan on collecting terabytes and terabytes of media and data. And there's also some third-party programs you can use to organize assets. I have to see what I used to use at these agencies, but I find that with Google Drive it works really well with the rest of what I want to do in my life. It's just very fine-tuned for just organizing everything else, because this is just one aspect of the experience here. So what we need to do is we need to think about objects we want to collect. So I am creating, for this asset collection here, I am trying to create an environment that expands over time. And so I need to find things that you'd see in a typical backyard of a suburb and then expand to other things based off of one of the game concepts here. So I've already collected the house, and I've just opened up Epic. You can see I'm starting to collect stuff that would reminisce a backyard. And obviously some of this stuff doesn't reminisce a backyard. I was just seeing what the texture stuff was and playing around with assets I collected. And if you are curious of where this stuff's coming from, again, if I go to Epic Game Launcher here, in the marketplace, there's a lot of free assets you can get. And I think it's just taking a second to launch. What's going on there? Alright, well, clearly it's... I don't know why the marketplace is not coming up. There we go. Just took a second. So if I expand this a little bit, I go to free, or what I like to do better is I like to go to browse and I just put in this keyword and then free. You can see there's a lot of really cool stuff here. So I can see right now that this city park just came on the thing. So I will just add it, and I'll show you a little. I'll just add some few things to show you how this works here. So I am just Terraform is a pretty cool thing we're going to probably check out at some point. But what I'm getting at is you can actually pick out assets, assuming you're allowed to use them, from these free assets and use them in your own games. So you don't necessarily need to use the whole environments they create, but the quality of the textures they're using. So this is a cool one. This is a beach scene. We definitely want that one. And I'm not really looking at the assets. I'm just thinking about specifically the scenes and what kind of stuff is actually going to be included in the, you know, the concept of the game I'm creating here. I'm not going to worry about materials just yet, because most of the stuff will have materials included, and I'm also not looking for architectural stuff in the interiors. I'm looking for exterior models, because you're going to be outside in the specific game creation here. So mega scans are cool, but they also tend to be just one object, really detailed object, and we don't want that. We want actually mesh that has been textured in separate layers so that we can pretty much change them. So I could probably go through this for, you know, for a little bit and pick out stuff relevant to what I'm trying to do. But I can tell you right now that a lot of this grungy cool stuff is awesome for realistic detail, but for the sake of the kind of gameplay I'm creating, it's overkill. We don't need all this detail. We just need models of things that we can light well and create an experience and start focusing more on the gameplay here. So I'm not going to spend too much more time going through here, because this definitely seems like there's a lot more material and mega scan objects. And I have a feeling if I were to go into the props here, and I can just see free and props. So now I'm searching for free props. This is probably more relevant to the kind of stuff I'd be needing for my game development here. So stuff like this is great. Because you never know when you're gonna have to put something in. So we'll definitely invest 30 bucks. Okay, so we have our library, and so you see we added a few new things here. So the one that I'm gonna add right now to show you how it works is where was it? It was that it was the beach scene. Or you know what, maybe I didn't download, I just added to the cart. Okay, so that's probably why it hasn't shown up yet here. Right. Okay, so I can just check out here, and then it should just add it to my collection, I think. Yeah, I can just place the order. I think they just need a record of you downloading it in case you go out and do things with it. Okay, so now that we have here, see we added 3 new ones. So let's just add this. Oh, interesting. So what's interesting to me is that some of these allow for you to add them to your project, while others make you open it up. So we'll create a new project here. And I'm not going to change the destination of this, although eventually I'm going to start saving all my projects not on my C drive, and to other SSDs, M2s and stuff, as I have a couple more M2 slots in here, which when I invest in some larger capacity M2s, I'll probably start working directly off of those. The key thing is you want to keep your OS as light and swift as possible most of the time, because you want to keep that for mostly your drivers, your systems, and things that, you know, keep the computer kind of operating smoothly. And so you can see I've already used 600 gigs of stuff here, which is 300 of that, in my defense, is just my Google Drive stream, and I'm down to nine files left. And so when that's done, I'm gonna actually wipe the cache, and that's gonna go down to like 200 gigs of used. So So I'm just letting that finish, and then I'm just trying to clean up before I move forward. So that's why the asset collection is the best next step, because I can save stuff without creating more problems or things. So you can see it's downloading our asset here, and what I really like about Epic Engine is that the lighting in a lot of these templates do a lot of the heavy lifting for the quality in what it looks like, you know, and just as you open it up. Yeah, so this person's asking how you merge it too, I think. And I don't know. Maybe I forget. I forget if you download it first, if it actually allows you to add it. Let me see. But I think for some of them, because it's an actual project itself and not just an asset like an add-on, you actually have to import it different ways there. So we'll just go ahead and open this up. And because I'm opening it up, I'm going to close my other one. Alright, and this is where Windows kind of drives me nuts, where I don't really love Windows. I like Mac better still, but I like the power of Windows. And I like everything else that runs on Windows. I like how everything functions. I think the operating system itself is quirky, and I think Apple still does a better job of user experience, in my opinion. And that's coming from a technical, creative person, somebody that tries to be a little bit of both. So, okay, so let's check out our city park collection. And then while we do that, let's start thinking about other stuff that may be in the backyard of our... Alright, let me see here. Alright. Okay, so I'm just reading an email here. Alright. Alright, so it's my server stuff. There we go. I was just looking for the right window. Okay, so what else do you have in a backyard that could be utilized in a game? Well, what did everybody have in a backyard when they were growing up? First, let's just click downloadable. So I'm not going to download anything that's organic, like trees or bushes, because Epic will already have that stuff. I need more mechanical or, constructed items. So let's just say, let's look for a shed. My grandfather used to have a shed with a riding lawnmower in it. And the funny thing, in California, there's no yards. And so I never really used a riding lawnmower until I moved back to the East Coast. And we got a lot more land in our property, and so I'm fascinated with riding lawnmowers. And for anybody that had to mow their lawn every weekend, I apologize for you. I had to use a push mower to mow my parents' backyard for my allowance when I was young. So another thing, we need to figure out, these all have really good detail, but we're not trying to go for ultra detail. We're just trying to go for like-minded models. meaning that the texture mesh, the poly, and the realism is all kind of aligned. So like even this thing is cool, but it's gonna be a little bit too worn for our house, which looks pretty fresh. Not to mention it's $6, and we're trying to do free asset collection here. So sometimes that's actually a downside to Sketchfab, is that these models tend to be really good, but at the same time overkill sometimes, and not exactly what we're looking for. So let's just move on to Turbo Squid, and let's just see what this has. Shed. Alright. So I'm thinking about something more like a cookie cutter white picket fence shed. Even something like this is good. But one thing I don't like about what Turbo Squid has done is that they mix a lot of their free stuff with their paid stuff now. So they have columns, and then so you have to look 1, 2, and 3 thing, but this is the paid version if you if you throw down. And I don't have a budget for this stuff right now, so we're at slim pickings. Even this is no good. Alright, so shed. Oops. Just trying to look for something that is modern, suburban stuff here. So you can see how asset collection is spent a lot of time, and people underestimate the value in it. Nah, I didn't make any money because I don't sell anything on here. Alright. Yes. I had to say, the models on this site are pricey. They're good, but they're pricey. So something like this, probably overkill, but realistically with our house is what you would see. And the house I'm actually using is a paid item in the one I showed you recently, so that's why the quality of it's a lot better than the free stuff here. Alright. Okay, so of a model, and then you can retexture it better. So for instance, this texture is kind of a little bit, but we can texture it to something that's a little bit better for us. So for now, I'm just going to drop everything on the desktop right here, because I'm going to rename this stuff and reorganize it. Come on, what's up with my stream? Tell me it's still streaming. Huh. Okay, so we got a shed, I guess. I always like to, I kind of have these in order of my favorite sites. CG Trader would be better if there was more free stuff, but it also tends to be paid. I like Sketchfab the best because you get the best free things. Okay, so I already have a swing set, some other stuff. I'm just trying to think of stuff my mom used to have in the backyard when I was a kid. We had a bird fountain. Let's see, a bird fountain. Something like this. Bird bath, that's what it's called, not bird bath. Okay, well this is although this texture is kind of whack, the model itself is good. And so, oh, no, but see, here's the issue. This is why I don't like these, because this is a 3D scan, and it's not really good for a game. You want an actual model here. Because when you zoom in, the imperfections make it look like it's a crappy model. And you're better off texturing an actual model with bump maps to make it kind of have that texture. Okay, so let's try bird bath. The downside of Sketchfab is there's less options here. There's a low poly one. No, I don't really like it. This one's alright, but it's got a weird base. This one's square, which I've never seen a square bird bath before, but I'm assuming they're a thing. But again, you know, it is a real one. But again, you can go this route, but I'm gonna try to avoid it just because I don't like having to deal with this extra grass here. So let's just see what we have in Turbo Spin. Bird bath. Oopsies. This is a. This song is probably pretty offensive. I have a feeling it's gonna get flagged anyways. So that's the bird bath we want, but it's $35 for a stupid model of a bird bath. This one's better, but it's still 11. So that's the thing. Really weird models, like tend to be more expensive because they're less available. And at a certain point, you might just be better off just buying them yourself. Another thing is you can kind of find packages sometimes. It's an AR bird bath. So all of these are good, but they all cost money here. Let's try bath. Alright. Ooh, looks like we found one. Cool. So we're going to use this one. This is good. So although it's a little rounded, with a good cement texture on that, that will actually work for us here. So you do a little digging. You can find what you're looking for. And I'll go ahead and just, oops. I want to drag this one out. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to reorganize these so I don't have to rename them now. As long as it says what it is within that description, I think we're fine. I'm also having issues where my mouse is running out of batteries or something, so it's not performing like it should. I'm also eating Girl Scout cookies. So, bird bath. What we got? Oh, let's talk about lawnmower. Huh. 120? Free. Look at the difference there. I mean, ultimately, you want to get these nice models, but you want to find one that's free that looks like this. There's no way. Imagine the thousands of dollars an indie company would have to pay for all that stuff. You know, not everybody has a big budget. Actually, I know why Turbo Squig does this. They're just rubbing in your face of like, hey, you're being cheap. But still. Alright, so this is why I like Turbo Squid. Because Turbo Squid, you do get stuff like this, which though that's not really super realistic, it's better for being free. This guy's got his dad. This is awesome. Let's look at this real quick. My question is, how long does this guy have to sit here to capture this photogrammetry? That's pretty awesome. But you can see, even though this looks detailed from far away, the second you go in, it's kind of worthless for a game. Like, look at that. I mean, you see how like everything's warped? It's no good. You want something that's actually a real model. So we just want to find something like this that's free. And this one's the closest, but it's not good. No good. No good. Alright, lawnmower, no good. Let's try this one. Lawnmower. So this actually has potential if you can texture it, but I have a feeling it's just one solid object, and so to texture it, you're gonna either have to have a texture map and UV map. It has to be UV mapped, or you're gonna have to separate stuff. So that's a lot of work. So what we try to do is avoid models that are one solid piece without textures, because you just end up spending a lot of time on it. But let's go ahead and just check it out real quick. And so I'm gonna open up your 3D program of choice. Oh, I forgot this is still opening here. Wow. Alright, looks like it's still working, so I'm just not going to touch that, because for some reason sometimes if you don't let this finish, it just will freeze up. So it looks like it's almost done. So that. Where's my Cinema 4D I just opened up? Alright, I'm pretty sure that's working. Alright. Let's do this the old-fashioned way. We're gonna do it the old school way. We're gonna go... I gotta get a new mouse. This thing's driving me nuts. Right here, and see if that opens up now. I have a feeling it's just... this is holding everything up. Okay, well for now, let's just say no to that, and let's try to open up our Cinema 4D here. There we go. See? Oh, that wasn't it. Alright, what is going on? Cinema 4D. It might be OBS. OBS tends to hold a lot of programs from opening up when I use it. I'm gonna try this older version here. Alright, well this older version of Cinema 4D seems to open up, but it's a lot lighter. We'll see what happens. So what I like to do is I like to convert everything, whatever it is, to an FBX game friendly. And so what I like about Sketchfab is that a lot of their stuff is already game friendly. It's already like FBXs that they offer here. And everybody tends to kind of have the whole AR, VR, game development mind state, which is why they convert. If I were to download something like this, I'll just show you an example. Download this, they usually give you an augmented reality format, and you know, this one's an OBJ, but sometimes they're FBXs. It kind of depends. Sometimes they're Kaleida, sometimes they're blenders, you know. But I just make everything an FBX is what I'm getting at. So let's just go ahead and open up this lawnmower, and I'm just inspecting the OBJ to see what we have to work with here. And if it's just a solid OBJ with no textures, it's not going to be the best thing to use, but man, so I'll just import that. And yeah, as expected, you can see that this, sometimes what you can do is you can just drag the texture onto it and it will just work. But the reason why this person probably gave this away for free is because it was going to be a pain in the ass for them to texture. So they figured, give it away free, somebody else can put the time into it. So if we were going to use this in the game other than just a standalone model, we probably wouldn't consider this, but the fact that this is to be a prop for a visual, it may be worth taking the time to texture this because the model itself is really clean. You look at everything, it's a pretty clean model, and I'm just trying to keep this zoomed here. And so I have to consider what I do with that. When you go to texture this, it's pretty, because this is just a one text, let me also change this song. Alright, but what I can do here is I can just kind of select the areas. And so this is how one way you can texture is you can select the polys, and then you can drag a texture on there, you can separate it, but you can see how challenging it is. And different 3D programs, Maya, they all kind of different ways you can do this, but having a model that is all together is pretty much useless. So that's the only point I'm trying to make there. It's not useless, but it's not going to do us much good in terms of the texturing it within the actual thing we're creating here. So we're going to keep on looking real quick. Alright, free 3D. Even this one, maybe we'll use this one because it's got all the separate stuff here. So I'll just go ahead and trash this just for organization, and I will see what this one's all about. Alright, so 3D object I think usually means it's an FBX, but no, it's an OBJ, okay. But this one actually has a diffuse here. So this is how you would want a single object to be presented to you. This is the material, we'll just drag that out. If you download a single object, you want it to have this texture here with it, and the other one didn't, so it was kind of useless for us. Here, and then I can just drag that on there and delete this, and I can offset this just to where it needs to be. Oops. Okay, that's weird. There we go. -90, and I can just kind of fix that here. Okay, so and also make sure I just go back into move mode and I'll center it. So we have a better model here. I mean, it's not perfect, but what we can do is we can actually go in here and change the colors around by opening up this diffuse here. So let's go ahead, and what I want to do is actually test what this looks out in the game, because a lot of this stuff will probably be like this. I'll open my Drone Explorer here. Okay, and I gotta figure out how to fix those. So in my assets, I'll make a new folder. I'll call this Lawn Mower. Okay. And you can just drop it in there, or you can upload it. I just usually like to go like that. I'll import everything. So I want to see what the lighting does to the actual. Okay, interesting. The actual model itself. Imagine trying to mow this grass with this lawnmower. That'd be funny. Alright. Okay, so you can see it still doesn't look great. Not having bumps or diffusion. Well, keep in mind this one's not even textured, but it has... but if you compare what it looked like in the model to this, the lighting and then the ambient occlusion does give it some more realism. So that's actually not that bad of a model for us. And obviously it's a huge lawnmower in the scale of this. If I were to play my... okay, I gotta resolve this a little bit, but... Okay, what happened here? Oh, I forgot. I have my my Oculus plugged in, and so when I press play, I think it actually might be playing it in the Oculus headset along with on the computer. But you can see that's obviously not as huge, but it's usable. So we'll keep that lawnmower for now. We may change the textures around, may get rid of some of the labels there that looks like that's a Russian label or something like that. Let's just see what Oculus is saying here. Alright. I thought... Oh, there we go. Okay, so I will say that my computer graphics card, I need to get a new one because I have 4 things plugged into it, and I have 3 screens, and my Oculus is the 4th. And it does not like me doing... playing with the Oculus and all of this here. Okay, so let's try real quick in the headset, see what it looks like here. Oh, cool. Alright, so one thing I just realized. Oh, that's awesome. Alright, so I do need to use both. This, it's all over here. Okay. There we go. Awesome, and it just seems to work. What I find interesting is I can control. I have multiple controllers here, and I'm kind of getting dizzy from all of it. But I can just use my Xbox controller to move around and check things out. So I don't know if you can actually see what I see. You probably can. Okay, but you can see I'm using the Oculus in real time just to walk around, and I was just testing some stuff. So you can really get a scale for everything here, and you can see there's our lawnmower again. That's just because we're testing. I can use the default character here. Getting really dizzy, so I'm gonna have to take these off in a second. So you can see we have a copy of that one. Alright, and my controller just ran out of battery, so we're going to call it there. But, pretty cool. A pretty fast way of getting your VR stuff like set up within the or I just want to simulate that. But a very fast way of testing stuff in VR using this engine. So super awesome, excited about building stuff out. And although I didn't plan on making this specific game a VR experience, it's very easy to do so. Okay, so let's continue searching for things here. And we will just go ahead and delete stuff that, you know, I could just keep this stuff in here. And just, what is this? Okay, so this is because I actually deleted stuff earlier. Save that. Alright, organized. See, that's what's cool. You look at the lighting, you can see what this lighting's doing. It's really giving it some ambient occlusion. And then within this is just stuff that's there, and then the environment is just the map, and then the objects there. So that's kind of how I'm organizing this project. but you know, keep in mind it's really just what you're trying to do here. So again, I'll save that, and we'll go back into our asset collection. I'm gonna figure this out because every time I close that, my screen goes blank and I can't see it. That's super annoying. Okay, what else do we need? So sometimes we can just type in stuff as simple as a backyard, right? And then somebody will put together a bunch of stuff for a backyard. Or maybe I can just say yard in general. Is backyard one word though? I think it is. Yeah, there you go. So, this is a kind of a shortcut way to gather more assets at once. You can usually find packages that have separate assets in there. Ooh, a grill. That's a great idea. Totally forgot about that. How much do you want for it, buddy? Oh, that's awesome. There's no way this person's going to let you use this. So, let's see what happens. Okay, they do. Awesome. So we're definitely going to download this, even though this is an immaculate grill. We're definitely going to use this. So, cool thing I like about Sketchfab is no BS. They tell you if you can or can't use it. I got to be honest. Anybody that makes something downloadable but they don't let you use it, I don't get your angle there. Just, you know, if you don't want people to use it for stuff, if you don't want to go through the legal stuff of chasing them down if they use it for something that you don't want commercially, you should probably keep it for yourself, because anybody that's learning, once they start downloading stuff and learn, they're no longer just going to want to use it for a project. They want to try to make money off of it. So the fact this person lets you use this, as long as you credit them in some kind of legal doc, is legit. You know, that's a pretty cool thing. And if you look at the quality of this thing, look at it. It's amazing. Look at those stakes on there. So let's go ahead and check this asset out now, since we just found a pretty cool grill. And let's see what that's all about. And so this is where I kind of have to do some more organization, because Sketchfab does some weird stuff where they embed zips within zips, and I'm guessing that's just the way they offer, or they showcase but what we need to do is we actually need to open Blender for this one. Okay, so open up Blender, and I honestly don't use Blender that much. It's a free program. This is their new version. It looks sweet, or their latest version, I should say. But I just use it to convert stuff to FBX so that I can bring in. Cinema 4D is my program of choice, but I know people use 3D Studio Max and Maya over this. But because I use a lot of motion and a lot of Adobe stuff, Cinema 4D tends to be my preference, but it's not the favorite one. If you're doing game development, people use more Autodesk related software. So here we just have to basically, this is also something that I don't really get. They usually embed the textures within the zip, but then they also have them in its own texture file here. And so if I open this up, you'll see, oh wait, no, it didn't this time, so I take that back. But sometimes you'll see a double texture, which I'm not always sure why that's the case, but I'm sure there's a reason. So just to show you what I mean with, we were using Cinema 4D here. If I were to use Cinema 4D, okay, so it actually does import this. I forget, Cinema 4D doesn't import all models. And the reason why it's so detailed is it's a SketchUp model, so it's actually a real thing. So cool. So delete the camera, you don't need it. And this is going to be really heavy in our game, so we may want to combine all the mesh, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. All I want to make sure is that everything has its own texture attached to it, which it looks like it does. and we can reuse these within the game engine here. So since that's good, I'll go ahead and file export FBX, and again I just kind of named grill, barbecue grill. All right. And so if you're adding character animation to an FBX, there are certain versions you have to save the FBX out as, I believe, for the game engines to recognize. At least that's what how Unity is. But because it's just a model, it could be the newest version. Yeah, so this is great how it's all separate, but that's not going to be efficient for our game there. But we have our model here. So this is where I'll actually do some organization before I drop it in. I'll just go barbecue grill, and I'll drop in our FBX, and then I'll drop in the textures directly here. And then if I open up Unreal here and I go back to my assets, I'll just drop it in here directly in the folder. I don't have to make a new folder here. And so I like doing it this way because it's the best way to keep the game engine organized in terms of all the hierarchies and the references it needs to access. But it doesn't always work, as you can see here. Alright, I'm not worried about that. And also, we don't necessarily want all these to be separate. We just want that one solid piece. So I'm hoping I can find it in here somewhere. I hope it doesn't. Alright, so we don't necessarily want it to be all separate. So a quick fix for this is I go in here and I just select all these and I go connect objects. So I can connect all of them up like this. And also I forgot that these instances I don't think are, I know they are important. Okay. So select everything besides the parent, and then you can go connect and delete. Ooh, no you can't, you're gonna go connect objects. Alright, so this one where it gets a little weird, where I kinda I forgot how to do this. So I'm gonna go. Okay, so this is actually where Maya tends to be better, I think. So I'll just delete this one, and then these are our newly created objects. Alright. Is it working? 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 Come on, computer. I know you're hurting from all the stuff you're doing, but alright, 5 more files to be synced. Alright. Did it crash on me? Oh, no way. This is the actual program I closed. It finally opened. Oh, that's why. This is that beach one I think we were looking at. So, you can see everything is just kind of like trying to like do its thing, but... Alright, so where is my... Let's close some stuff here. I like at least how the programs froze. So back in the day, Windows just would freeze up, but now it just seems like certain programs just freeze, which is better. I don't see Unreal in this list, which tells me it's alright, City Park. Where the heck is it? What's this one? Alright, that's that one. That's that one. I'm having a problem finding the Unreal window here. There we go. That's the one we want. End it. Okay, and hopefully what that will do is it'll end this City Park one, but not our, yeah, we'll just end everything, I guess. Okay, unfortunately that's what we had to do. Okay, so I'm just kind of having, I can group them. I don't know if this is an older version of Cinema 4D or if I'm just doing something wrong here, but I'm just confused with the there's like certain ways you use this. You add like splines and stuff. Okay, so go. Okay, set to object. Alright, well I'm not gonna figure that out the second. I just wanted to get all of this stuff. And unfortunately you can say I ruined my textures there. So there's a way to merge everything, and I forgot to do it within this version. Maybe the newer version does it better, but I'm not gonna worry about that now. I'm gonna do that off screen here. So now that we have this stuff in place, I can just go ahead and ditch that, and I'll just ditch this, and I will. Okay, so outside grill, we can not worry about that. All right, we don't need that. Streaming. Oh, I didn't realize the live stream isn't working. Let me just. It is working. Okay. This was delayed before. Cool. Alright, so that's our realistic grill that we have to figure out how to combine together at some point. Alright, how about some patio chairs? Yeah, that's right. Let's type in patio. So this is perfect. Look at this thing. Perfecto. I don't even have to look at it. I just know it's exactly what we want. So it's an FBX. Let's download that. We'll add that to our set. But you know, anybody that's interested in kind of like that stuff, you can see this is the pretty much the beginning of whatever you're conceptualizing. You gotta collect all the stuff you're gonna interact with, and stuff like this would be cool. But I have a feeling this, I kind of know this company, and I have a feeling they don't let you use this commercially. Yeah, see, they don't. They're showcasing their models, but they don't let you put them into stuff, which is kind of annoying. Like, don't even put it on here. Picnic table. Oh, $12 for that. Crazy. I mean, it's a good looking table, but clearly there's got to be one for free there. So let's just say picnic. There we go. Alright, so there's one for free. You can see the texture there isn't as good, but if you compare this one to that one's not good. it's one of those things where why would you pay for it if you can get one with the same models and just texture it yourself? Alright, what's this one? So I mean, obviously the one that's $12 is the best, but you know, stuff like this isn't terrible. I don't like this one because look at the spacing in that. That's not a good one. No offense to the kid that did it. It's like Minecraft stuff, I guess. Picnic basket. Nothing about that. Not bad. The little props like this add up, and so you know, you really stuff like this. Let's see if this person. All right, so we can download that. And just so you know, I am not keeping track of these specific modelers, these people that. But what we do is we'll create a list of every model and then credit every individual in some legal small print and some link within the apps, and we'll go back at some point and just I just don't want to have to keep track of it right now. This one's actually, do you ever go to like a state park? Oh wait, no, that's kind of, it's weird how big that stuff is. But let's see what they say. Let's take it. That's not realistic, super realistic, but I do like how full it is. It's got a little cartoon. It's got like a little tune feel. Little picnic baskets. Okay, ooh, RV. That's funny. It's actually a really funny story. For quarantine, my dad went out and bought a pop-up RV camper because they didn't want us inside during quarantine, but they wanted us to hang out, so we slept in it, and I actually took it down to the Cape this summer. First RV I've ever stayed in my life. It was pretty fun. So before I do a new search, I like to just look for stuff that it pulls up that's relevant, because you find a lot of good stuff that way too. But I do realize that an RV in that would be good. That'd be fun. But you can see I'm sticking mostly to, who knows what this is from. Come on, who knows what this is from? I'm pretty sure it's from Spaceballs. Pretty sure that's the Spaceballs RV. But what I was getting at is you can see I'm just kind of hanging out in Sketchfab here because there's so many talented artists and modelers that put their stuff up here, and it really saves me the time of not having to model the stuff myself. I don't know what the rules are with like when you take a real life version of something that's in a show. I think this is a little bit too detailed for us, so we're gonna pass that one. This looks like it's the same model. Okay. This one's got a, I don't know if there was a competition for the Breaking Bad RV, but there's a whole lot of them up here. So I'm hesitant to use this because then somebody's gonna be like, hey, that's from like the show. That's not really part of this game, but This one's pretty good, except for the, it looks to be bolt holes there. Well, unfortunately, it looks like a lot of the RVs that are in the beginning are the best shots for us that are free. I mean, this is actually the one I want. This trailer one. That one's good. This one's too low poly. I can't tell if these are they're not the same, huh? But this one is the winner. Whoever, but I actually think this one is the one I want. I like this one because it's, again, it's a balance between cartoony and realism. It's pretty good, so let's see if they let you use it. Excellent. Vector Man. Vector Man is the man. Okay, so we'll just download that. And we'll use the Breaking Bad RV, which, I gotta be honest, I'm kind of embarrassed. I've only seen a couple episodes of Breaking Bad. I know it's a really good show, I just haven't had time to get into that stuff. I know what it's about, I know it, but I haven't watched all of them. Okay, so we got an RV there. So we need a lot more props, so this is going to take a while. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back and